Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, we'll start by saying this is Dr. Conley's last board meeting. I'm very sorry, but we'll do something at the end of the meeting. It's a very short agenda, but I've always been told beware of the short agenda, so we'll see what happens. So, anyway, we'll start with the consent agenda. Mr. Wolf.
Motion to move the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second? Second. Mrs. Bush. Anyone like to pull anything? Mrs. Arndt.
I apologize, I know time is of the essence, so I won't. I have a couple questions about G.
Okay. Anybody want to pull anything else? Okay, so we'll vote on 1.1A, B, C, D, E, and F. All those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. And now we'll move on to G. Mrs. Arndt.
I assume I'm asking Mr. Testa, is that correct? Yes, okay. Hi, Bob. I read the whole thing and still ended up with a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I didn't get an idea of the time commitment beyond the summer semester, that they do most of the teaching is what or most of the meeting. It did mention a learning community that meets once a semester and then ongoing PD. Do you have any idea what it will involve?
That's still being developed.
Okay.
We are aware, obviously, of the 80-hour commitment for teachers, so that was the big commitment that we're trying to finalize dates for, but there is a commitment during the year. There'll be some half-days possibly for teachers to meet in their groups, but they don't have anything final. With your approval, though, I can certainly share that as the project is being developed.
Is there a plan for, it's not all staff, right?
No.
Okay, so have you figured out, you have a plan for who will be attending and then how they'll be sharing what they?
Yes, actually the state requires us to develop modules for other teachers across the state for this training, so that's one of the requirements of the grant that we're going to have to work on, whether it's videotaping or creating some type of module so that other teachers across the state can have access to it.
And there was a mention of evidence of success. How do you measure that? Is there a plan?
Actually, there is some research involved where the teachers will be involved in doing some surveys throughout the course of completion as far as, there's certain restrictions that we have to follow as far as developing teachers' content. It's really focused on their content and conceptual understanding of mathematics. And there's also some surveys that they've developed already for teachers, conceptual understanding of math. I actually have some other research that I can share at some point as well.
So that projects funded must conduct experimental research to collect evidence. That's going to be on the staff to do.
Our partner, our proposed partner, Wesleyan University, worked with 2 districts over the last 3 years regarding a lot of that paperwork and showing growth on the teacher's part. And as I said, one of the ways to measure it really includes the surveying of teachers, asking them. They've already started to look at the problems of instruction, and then prior and then post-assessment, and did some surveys as well.
And was this successful in Middletown and Vernon? Is there evidence
Yes,
of that?
actually, I spoke with the assistant superintendent in Middletown when I knew we were going to apply. We applied for this grant 3 years ago. We were a finalist. We didn't receive this grant. I did speak with Middletown, and they couldn't say enough positives about it. And I could certainly share with you some quotes from teachers, but everything I heard from her and the teachers through her were certainly positive regarding this training. And it really speaks to, with the shift for the Common Core, we've asked our teachers to really focus more on that problem solving, conceptual understanding of our students. We really need to invest in our teachers to do that. I know as a former elementary teacher, I may have had minimal training in teaching of math. Quite honestly, I would rely on the teacher's manual. This really digs deep into that conceptual understanding, which really we should be investing in our teachers. Everything I've heard about it is positive. I would certainly highly recommend the training. And it is a commitment, obviously. 80 hours of giving up your summer is quite a big commitment. I'm certainly very pleased with, I think we have around 30 teachers that have expressed interest. So we'll see from those 30 how many teachers can actually make that commitment through the summer work. And it's a 3-year grant, so we're certainly off on the right foot, and certainly we have the interest, which I'm very pleased with.
Those teachers will be paid beyond their regular contract.
There's a
That's part
stipend.
of the grant.
There's a stipend.
Okay. What about if it impacts their class time? Is there sub pay, or
Yes,
the grant will cover
the
some
grant
of
covers
this?
sub.
Okay.
Correct.
So it's your opinion that that trade-off in time in the classroom is going to come back in another way, in a positive way for the
That is correct. That's
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions on that? Mrs. Bush?
I'm just excited for the opportunity for our teachers. And I think, I agree with you that when you're going into the schools and math instruction, we had very little in the teacher prep. And coming into the schools, you use the teacher's manual and you develop lessons through collaboration and things like that. And I'm just really excited that our teachers are going to be able to have this opportunity. And I think it's great, and that's about it. I wish I was one of those teachers. But thank you for reaching out to that and getting it for our teachers.
Thank you. We were excited when the grant was posted again. As I said, we applied 3 years ago, I think my first year on in my new role as curriculum coordinator. We certainly were a little disappointed when we didn't receive the grant then. So.
Does anyone want to make a motion? Mrs. Arn?
Move to approve item G in the consent agenda.
Is there a second? Mrs. Bush?
Second.
Any further questions or comments? All those in favor? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Very much. Okay, item 2.0, Secretary's Report. 2.1, Opportunity for the Board of Education to add or delete agenda items. Mr. Holt.
I'd like to add agenda item 4.3, the discussion of a lease of real estate, and we'll be expecting to do this in executive session.
Is there a second? Second. Mrs. Russell. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Unanimous. Any other additions, Mr. Kemp?
Yes, I'd like to add an agenda item. I'm going to suggest that to the chair it be something like 4.1.5, that we insert it there. In any case, I'd like to move to add a discussion of the Union Street property in Rockville, and I'd appreciate a second.
Mr. Bush. Okay, we'll make that 4.4.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions or comments on that motion? Okay, all those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Any other items to add or delete? Okay, now we don't have our third agenda anymore, do we? Okay, moving on to community forum. Item 3.0, opportunity for comments on agenda items, potential future agenda items, and general information provided to the board from citizens and community organizations. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to item 4.0, general business. Reports from the Board of Education liaisons regarding attendance at organizations and committee meetings. Anybody have anything to report? Mrs. Bush?
I attended the CAPE directors meeting, and we had a discussion about many different, CAPE things, but we were able to meet with the State Board of Ed and other things that gave us the opportunity to bring forth and saw that Diane Wenzel, our superintendent's vision for that. It was really nice.
Does anybody else have any questions for Mrs. Bush? Okay, I went to the Center Road School PTO and they talked extensively about hoping to start a Lego league. They used to have one there years ago, and a parent was disappointed to see that it wasn't there anymore, so he said he'd be willing to step up and run the project if there were enough kids interested, so I guess they're gonna be looking into that, so that'd be great. Feed into our middle school and high school.
I'd like to just make a comment on that. I think we have the equipment, the tables, everything somewhere. So it's something that probably should be looked into. It probably can be done with little cost if we get a little digging done.
Great, okay, thank you. Okay, does anybody else have any reports from their groups? Okay, moving on to item 4.2. 2014-15 superintendent evaluation and contract. Mr. Holt.
I'd like to make a motion that the Vernon Board of Education approve the 2014-2015 superintendent evaluation and superintendent's contract from July 1st to September 30th, 2015, as discussed in executive session last meeting.
Is there a second? Mrs. Russell? Any questions or comments? All those in favor? It's unanimous. Moving on to item 4.3, real estate lease. Mr. Picard? Oh, Mr. Holt?
Motion to enter executive session and to invite Mr. Picaro and Dr. Conway.
Is there a second on that? Mr. Polina? Does anybody else have? Okay. All right, all those in favor of going into executive session? Unanimous. Okay, I guess we'll move into executive session.
Mike's off.
Okay, Mr. Wool.
I'd like to move that the Vernon Board of Education approve the execution by the Director of Business and Finance the lease as discussed in executive session.
Is there a second? Mrs. Bush.
Second.
Any questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. And now we will move on to item 4.4. Mr. Kemp, the Union Street property.
Yes, I'd like to move the Board of Education endorse the town of Vernon's acquisition of and improvements to the former Salvation Army facility at the Union Street property site. Appreciate a second.
Mrs. Bush.
Second.
Okay, anybody questions? Mrs. Owen?
The town bought it, why are we doing this?
What?
I'm not sure I understand why the board has to.
We don't have to.
Bless this.
I thought it would be a good idea, getting in front of the hearing, that we just come out as a body and say, listen, this is a good thing. We certainly endorse it, so you know, let's just formalize that by making the motion and passing it, hopefully.
Mrs. Russell?
First of all, how much did this property cost?
How much did the property cost?
Us.
Original? I don't really know.
Oh, Michael knows. Michael knows the answer.
Through the chair, I'm actually looking at the legal notice posted by the town of Vernon for the upcoming public hearing and special town meeting on October 6th. And it states that the owner has offered to sell the parcel to the town of Vernon in the amount of $165,000.
You have any questions?
Yes. What are we going to use this building as? How far?
My understanding is, first, the town is purchasing it, and my understanding is the intention is to facilitate the use of the staff and, I guess, parents of Maple Street School for the parking that they've so sorely needed for years. I remember back in the day, everybody used to park over there, and then whatever happened in the Salvation Army world, it caused the fence to go up and so on, and so staff and parents couldn't take advantage of the Maple Street lot any further. There was, over the years, an evolution of the street going one way helped, but by no means, you know, accommodated the needs. So this is a step in the right direction as far as that goes. So I think the staff will be very happy to have this development.
My only concern, and I've already had some, people talking about this issue, is that, the town is planning on parking some fleets there, and the neighbors behind there are not happy.
I can only say what I read, and that there might be some town of Vernon staging of some town vehicles there, whether it's a police vehicle or a fire vehicle or a public works vehicle. I really don't know, but it seems reasonable if they did stage or park some vehicles there. I don't see how that...
Grant Street neighbors are not pleased with that one. I'm just letting you know.
So, okay.
Mr. Sampson?
I think it's a great thing. We know that the parking is desperately needed over there. Our staff did use that a lot for years.
Yes.
And we had, at one point, I think we even had an agreement with the Salvation Army to let us use that lot legally. So I realize that it's just us saying, yes, we think this is a good idea. But I at least do think it's a good idea. So.
I agree with Paul, and I support Dave's motion on this because it's something that's sorely needed for the community, and I think that it will alleviate many of the issues right now with parking at Maple Street. And I would absolutely support it, and I'm going to support it at the meeting.
Mr. Holt?
I'd like to weigh in also just state that I do support this concept of endorsing the town's purchase of the property. It's sorely needed at Maple Street School parking lot, and this will definitely be an enhancement to the school district if we can get that.
Mrs. Arndt, you had your hand up before I did.
I was just going to say through you to Mr. Kemp that because there's conflicting information, David, and I don't know enough about it, I'm just going to abstain from the motion rather than vote against it, but I don't feel like I have enough information to support it, that's all.
Mr. Quinn?
I'd like to thank the town for spearheading this for one thing. And something that nobody has touched on too is because people exiting their vehicles on Maple Street and walking into traffic, there's multiple opportunities for safety issues. Crossing the street might be a lot more safer with a crossing guard, especially during times when it's beginning or ending of school. So I think that's a big plus is the safety, and I think that's the number one concern as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
Mrs. Russell?
I was gonna say more about what you just said, and that's the second concern is, that it is the safetyness of the kids. I remember when my kids went to school there, and they did let us share the parking lot, where there was an awful lot of problems with traffic and cars going too fast, and the kids, and even the parents, would cross over, not quite crossing the was. So if we, I think it's a good idea, I really do, but we have to plan it more carefully.
Mr. Vernon?
Through you, Madam Chair. No, I just wanted to add to my previous comment. The actual sale of the property is $165,000 to answer your question, but I would like to add that according to the notice, that there's an additional $85,000 that the town is committing, or proposing to commit to this to improve the building and the property at that location as well. So the total ask is an additional appropriation of $250,000.
Is that to improve the parking lot also, do you know, or does it not say that?
To you, Madam Chair, it says improvements of the building and property.
Okay, anyone else have anything to add or ask? Mrs. Russell?
I just want to add, that's a state road, and that was where the problems came in years ago. We're trying to do things for the safetyness of the children. We have to, it's more in depth than what we think it is.
Okay. Anything else? All right, well now we'll take a vote on the motion, which is to, endorse the town's acquisition of the Salvation Army property.
And improvements too.
And improvements too. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? You're opposed? Okay, and anyone abstaining? The motion carries. All right. Now we will move on to item 5.0 to review and update the Board of Education calendar. Does anybody have anything to understand?
I just wanted to note that it's not on any of the paper calendars or on the district calendar on our website, Mr. McCary's meet and greet. So if we can get that added.
October 1st, correct? And 5 to 8. Anything else for the calendars? No? Okay, last item is opportunity for questions from the press on agenda items. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you. I think we have one more motion that we can do. Mrs. Bush?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Mr. Stansel? All those in favor? Yes. Okay, before we all depart, though, we would like to take the time to honor Dr. Conway and thank her for all of her time and efforts here. So I just have a little something I want to say before we present you with something. We can't thank you enough for the years that you have dedicated to the Vernon Public Schools. You have put your heart and soul into this superintendent job, and you were hired at a time when our school was in dire need of change and improvements, and you ran with that. You have moved our district forward by implementing so many initiatives that have improved teaching and learning. A few examples are the development of effective leadership teams, the implementation of instructional rounds, and the provision of job-embedded professional development. Just these few examples alone assure that our teachers continue to learn and grow along with our students. You also organized a community conversation which helped to bring our school community together with the Vernon community as a whole. You collaborated with our then mayor to combine technology services for both the school system and the town. Throughout the years, you have dealt with many difficult situations, but you have always handled them with grace, dignity, and integrity. Your single most important focus has been to do what is best for kids. This belief was your true guide when making any and all decisions for our students. How could one go wrong with that strong belief? And you didn't. Bill's gain is our loss. We hope your retirement years are filled with fun and enjoyment, though we know you will keep your hand in education because you just can't stay away. Again, we all thank you very much for your overwhelming dedication to Vernon, and in particular to the children of Vernon. With that said, we'd like to present you with a little token of our appreciation. Give you this award. Thank you so much again. Thank you. And this. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. You want to open it? Because not everybody has seen it. Thanks, Trish, for the wrapping job. Nice wrapping job. She's good at that.
You got to live for
Didn't
it.
wait.
It says, by word and deed, your presence has enriched the lives of students, serving as an example for all. Congratulations on your retirement.
It's a set of
Well,
books
yes, set.
because we know you like to read. So hopefully you'll have more time in retirement to read.
Vernon Board of Education appreciates and thanks Dr. Mary Conway for her years of service to the Vernon Public Schools, 2010 to 2015. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank
Truly
you.
appreciate it for
Everything
everything.
you've done.
Thank you. Very nice. I have to thank Ms. Trish Buchanan has, she arranged all of this afternoon. I say it's been an addition of a cake, but she is quite extraordinary at what she does. And so I thank her very much for this display. So thank you. Again, please enjoy it.
We should probably have you go back.